I'm heading due north now towards the Kaneni River and the Angolan border. The further I go, the rougher the road gets. Right, this is the world's first 3-camera single crew shoot. In my last series I did a 2-camera shoot. I'm going up one. I have 3 cameras, and this is how I'm actually filming this series. I'm basically want to show you this because a lot of people say, well, how on earth can you go, on your own and actually not have a camera crew with you? Well, I don't have a camera crew with me. On the next 2 days, I'm meeting some people in the northern part of Namibia, and we will be going into Angola, and I will have people to assist me. And I've also organized on the last part of the expedition to actually have a crew when we go into Botswana, to actually have a crew to help me. But I do shoot it myself, and I use these 3 cameras: the big, the medium, and the little. I'm going to show you the little first. The little one gets shots like this. Now, the whole idea of this camera is that it is minute. All of these 3 cameras shoot in high definition. That's not HDV, it's one up from HDV, it's full high definition. Absolutely astonishing images you get from this camera, and it's also waterproof, so I can put it underwater and in the back of vehicles to, when if there's a lot of dust and everything, because it's secure, it doesn't damage the camera. So that I call the baby camera, and it comes with a whole lot of different mounts, so I can put it in all different places. This camera is so versatile that after shooting this shot of the choking dust, I was able to clean it off in a rather unorthodox way. Now this camera, this is the big one, the big boy. I'm going to take you now and show you around this particular camera. Now, this is a heavy, cumbersome, but very effective tool. And I use it for all kinds of shots, like this, for example. Now, the third piece of equipment that is probably the most interesting is this one here. This is actually, take it off again, a digital single lens reflex camera. Yes, you are. Okay, there it is. Now, the reason why I use a still camera is not for still images, actually. It's for video. And the quality of video this particular unit takes is absolutely extraordinary. Unbelievable. But it's cumbersome to use. Because it's a still camera, it's awkward to use. But because it's compact, I can use it inside the vehicle. So you will, in the weeks ahead, while I put together this TV show, see examples from all these 3 cameras. Hopefully you'll enjoy the show. Those of you who saw my last series will remember that when I did my lone trip through the Kalahari, I came across a burnt out vehicle, and a very sorry state of affairs it was too, just thinking about those poor hapless travellers. It was a Mercedes M-Class. Here's another one. Challenge with this one, of course, is to work out what vehicle it was. So it's a truck or heavy-duty station wagon. Might have been no, it's not a Land Rover product, because that's not the way Land Rover would do things. They do things, so I think it's Japanese. It's a very heavy chassis. This one is a difficult one. It's 4-door. There's a back door, I'm looking for a clue here. I don't know. It's very sad. Don't like seeing this. I think it's a Land Cruiser 80, which was the predecessor to my vehicle. But then again, that's a 4-cylinder engine. And they never built that vehicle with a 4-cylinder engine. It will remain a mystery. I'm heading due north now towards the Kaneni River and the Angolan border. The further I go, the rougher the road gets. It's quite a test of endurance. This is just unbelievable. And I've looked on both my maps and they warn of this. I've let the tyre pressures down to reduce the pounding, but it hasn't made a whole lot of difference. Oh, this is exhausting. I've been on this road for 2 hours. It's unbelievable. I've got 10 hours of this to the Kaneni, and then 10 hours, well, actually, given this condition, probably 12 hours. Push on I must. You see, the other problem is, but I'm not enjoying this one bit. I've got to come back this way to Sesfontein. Not exactly the same route as I've come up to now, but from this point, I've got to come back here. There is no other route. Well, the corrugations these corrugations are hell for roof rack feet. And I'm carrying more load than I would have generally liked. I'm not that happy with this arrangement. It's a bit heavy for me on the roof. Do I carry on or do I carry on? 24 hours of bashing my car to pieces. Is it worth it? When one travels on one's own, you've got to weigh up you've got to weigh up the balance of risk, and the further I go north, the more remote it is, without question. Do I carry on and risk it, and risk the Angolan part of the trip, or do I turn around now? Geez, this is a difficult decision to make. I also wanted to pay tribute to an old friend of mine, Dream.The, who used to do a lot of solo traveling around the Koakoland, or in fact all over Namibia. About 4 years ago now, I must be, he was murdered on one of his trips by two young men who wanted to go for a ride in his Hilux bakkie, and they killed him for it. And those two young men are now serving a life sentence in jail. Jan, I mention that because on the way up there is a place called Red Drum, and that's all it is. It's a red drum in an intersection, and they've put up a plaque in memory of Dream.The. I wanted to go and see that. That of all things I regret not being able to do, but being on my own, jeopardizing the Angola part of the trip because of vehicle breakage, tires and time. These decisions are never easy. They're never easy. So be it. Selected to camp last night place called Sesfontein. Sesfontein really is this kind of supply area for the Koakoland, if you like, for this. It's got a hotel. It's a tiny little town, but a good, comfortable place to have a hot shower, and I need to do a little bit of work on the car, minor little things, and also have a good check over after yesterday's hauling roads. The spotlight came loose. I think it was me who didn't tighten it properly. I always carry a full tool set plus a Leatherman when I'm traveling. I don't carry a lot of spares with the Land Cruiser. Fan belt, fuel filters. That's it. Nothing else. I've never found anything else necessary. Other vehicles you'll need different spares because other vehicles will have specific needs or specific things that might go wrong or more likely to go wrong. And I wrap my tools up in a cloth toolbox. You know, if you put it in a metal toolbox, eventually with the dust it becomes grinding paste. Well, here I am on the last part of the stretch, the last stretch to the Okavango River again. Given myself a little bit of a shave, made myself look vaguely respectable, because here is when I'm going to meet my travelling companions, half of whom I've never met. One or two I know quite well, and they're going to take me into Angola. A new country for me, never been there before. This is what I call phase 2 of the trip. I can't believe it. It's one of them.